Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we are doing the quick and start tutorial on how to start up the PMDG 737-800. This is for the whole 737 family, so it'll work on all of their aircraft. We are on Southwest Airlines today, going to Sky Harbor from LAX. We're gonna go around and do our pre-flight checks. Make sure nothing is wrong with our plane. There's an E-175 right there. It looks like an A321neo behind it. We're here at LAX, going to Sky Harbor today. Just making sure nothing's wrong with our plane. Yes. Okay, everything looks good. Everything's checking out. And we're gonna hop inside of our airplane. Alright, so our aircraft is loaded in a turnaround state. But first thing we're gonna do is get our iPads turned on the left and on the right. Okay. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into our FMC. We're gonna click on PMDG setup, panel state, and we're gonna hit cold and dark, and then hit execute. Aircraft is going to cold and dark state. Boom, just like that. We'll put our yoke back up. Just like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into our iPad. We're gonna plan our flight from here in LAX to Sky Harbor. Change it to horizontal since our flight is west to east. And we're gonna zoom out a bit. And then we're gonna go down and hit find route. Perfect. We have our route for today. Everything looks good. Taking off on runway 24 left, not 25 right, like it says. We like to be realistic in this game. And then what about our arrival into PHX? Wants us to land on runway 26. We're actually going to be landing on the other side. On runway, what is this? Runway 8. We're going to land on runway 8. Because of the wind direction. Okay. That's it for our flight planner. Let's go ahead and get this aircraft powered on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the overhead panel. And we're going to get our battery turned on. So we can go over to our black cover and hit the battery switch to on. And then we're going to go down and hit our GPU cart. We're going to get our GPU cart disconnected. Oops, I accidentally hit the switch. Not like it's going to do anything because the GPU cart's not connected. So we're going to go down and hit ground power request. It is now connecting. You can hear it. Now the blue light says ground power available. So now we're going to turn our ground power on. Perfect. just like that. Let me turn the volume up a little bit. Alright, IRS displays set to nav. Once those say align, we can go down and we can get our yaw damper turned on. Right there. Flip that to on. And now what we're going to do, we're going to go down and get our second forward fuel pump switch to on. Perfect, just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and get our APU started up here in just a second. If you guys want to see more videos like this, I can do a lot more. We just did the Phoenix Sim A320 family. More than happy to do the PMDG 777. Alright, so APU going on. Put that to APU start. That's going to start up right there. While that's started up, we can go ahead and get our emergency exit lights to armed. We'll go ahead and get our fasten seatbelt sign and no smoking signs to on. We'll go ahead and get our window heat turned on. Keep that frost off the windows. So what we're going to do now that it's started up, hit our center two switches, APU gens to on. Then we're going to go over to our packs, hit pack left, switch that into auto, pack right to auto, ISO valve down, and APU bleed, switch to on. That off because it's getting real loud. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over and get our altitude and landing altitude set up. So our altitude, we don't need to go very high. I mean, LAX and PHX are not that far. So we'll go like, I'd say about, let's do 30,000. Sounds pretty good. Our landing altitude for Sky Harbor today is, oh gosh, I don't know off the top of my head. I'll have to look that up real quick. Alright, landing altitude for PHX is 1,100. Perfect. Okay. For nighttime, you can go ahead and get your logo lights switched on, which for us it is not nighttime, so we do not need to do that. What we are going to do is we're going to go down and we're going to get our master caution switch. Set that, turn that off. And then we're going to go down to the FMC. If you want to fly airliners, this little computer calculator looking thing is going to be where you're spending most of your time. Again, I'm not going to go into very big detail about it. We're just going to do the bare minimum since this is a quick start tutorial. So we're going to hit clear on a little message down there. And then we're going to go and we're going to hit FMC. And then hit position analyzation. And then we're going to actually go to the next page, copy GPS left. And then hit previous page and set IRS position. Perfect, your plane knows where we are. Then we're gonna hit on route, and then we'll do origin, destination, and flight number. So KLAX as our origin. And our destination is Kilo Papa Hotel X-Ray. Boom, just like that. Flight number today is 5663. put our yoke back up. Go up to our camera, or reset our position so we're facing forward. Perfect. Then we're gonna go up to our autopilot setup and get our maximum altitude. So we're gonna go up to 30,000 feet right up there. Oops, I went a little too far. There we go. And then get our IS Mach to our maximum speed, which I think is 340. Yeah, it's 340. And then we're gonna go and get our flight directors on the left and on the right. And we can now start getting ready for pushback. So the passengers are one step closer to Phoenix. So we can go ahead and get our ground power released. Ground power is disconnecting. Alright, good. And then we're going to go down and hit door management. We're going to go close all of our doors. So entry 1 left is closing. The rest of them are already closed. And then once that's closed, we're going to go hit arm all. Doors are armed and closed for flight. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go and get our parking brake turned on. Perfect. And then we're going to hit ground connections right over here. We're going to hit remove chocks. So that will disconnect our air stairs right there. And everything else connected to our plane. Beautiful, just like that. Okay. Then we're gonna get all of our fuel pumps turned on before pushback. We're gonna get our hydraulic pumps turned on, our anti-collision lights turned on. And with that, we are ready for pushback. Over here to communications. Request pushback.
Ground, Southwest 4547, requesting pushback.
Pushback request accepted. Alright, parking brakes off. Reset our position. Now we can now push back.
Ground, Southwest 4547, requesting the end of pushback.
Oh, what an awful short pushback that was. Okay. We're gonna go get our parking brake turned on. We're gonna go ahead and get our engines started so we can move. Alright, pushback tug is going away. Disconnecting, driving off. So now I'm going to show you how to start up your engines in the PMDG 737 family. Pushback tug is now disconnected. If y'all want to see more startup tutorials, let me know. Okay, alright, up to, we're going to get our packs. Pack left, turned off. And pack right to off, ISO valve down. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go over and get our right engine turned on. So we're gonna go engine start right and hit ground. Right there. We'll go to our engine information panel. You can see it is rising. we're going to do here in a second to start up our engine, continue the engine startup, is we're to go down and get our fuel control switch to on. Engine 2 start to on. Now we'll continue our engine start for engine number 2. And then that will automatically switch back to off once our engine has started. So now we're going to go ahead and repeat the same process. We're going to get our pack right switch back to auto, and we're going to get our ISO valve actually to the up position. Then we're going to go to engine number 1 and hit ground. And then once we get to around 4-ish%, we'll go ahead and get our engine 1 start fuel control switch to on, which will continue our engine start for engine number 1. Alright, engine 1 fuel control switch coming on.
Ground, Southwest 4547. Request taxi for west departure with Golf.
Requesting taxi clearance.
Taxi 2 and hold short runway 25 right using taxiway Delta Delta, Niner Delta, Kilo, Charlie Charlie 1 Bravo Bravo 1, Southwest 4547.
Alright, now that our engines have started up, we're going to go and get our APU gen switches number 1 and number 4 to on. Then we're going to go and get our probe heat turned on, wing anti-ice. All of those switches are going to come on just like that. Pack left, auto, ISO valve, auto. APU bleed can come off. We'll get our APU start turned off. And we'll come down here and get our master caution checked. So if you see all black right there, no orange text in it, you did everything correctly. So we're gonna go down and we're gonna get our auto brake set to RTO. Right down here in the center screen. Perfect. Then we're gonna go down and get our flaps set to 5. Flaps are now coming down. Okay, now we're going to do the most important part of flying, a flight control check. Always make sure your controls are working before you ever take off. Flight controls free and correct. Alright. Yoke is up. Reset position. Parking brakes off. Now we can get out of here and start taxiing. Once we get our taxi runway turn off lights and taxi lights all on, we are now ready to get out of here. We can add some thrust to our engines, and then we can get on out of here and taxi to our runway. We don't have a very long taxi today. Out to our departure runway today. Add some thrust, put in a little rudder, and we are on our way. Go ahead and get our map set up so I can show you where we are taxiing to. We really don't have much long of a taxi today. Got an A350 coming in over there, I see. So now what we're gonna do before takeoff is we're gonna get our map turned off. We'll need that once we take off though. We'll get our to Los Angeles Tower. Perfect, we're on their frequency. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our auto throttle turned to arm. First our LNAV. Armed. Get our auto throttle armed. Go ahead and get our landing lights turned on. We'll get our engines into continuous. Position lights strobe steady. Wing lights on. Alright, we are ready for takeoff. So we're currently lining up on runway, what is that? I can't read it from here. Currently lining up for takeoff. We're gonna go ahead, get our throttles all the way up. Toga, taking off runway 24 left. Here at LAX. Check. V1, rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. ahead and get our flaps put back up once we have taken off. And we're gonna go ahead and get our spoilers set to arm after our auto brake off. And go ahead and get our spoilers. Oh, can't get it. There we go. Oops. There you go. Spoilers to armed. I'll reset our position. And then we're going to start banking. Landing gear set to off. Runway turn off and taxi lights set to off. Landing lights off. Engines back to off from continuous. Reset our position. We'll go up and get our iPad out. Right there, so we know where we're going. So now we're just climbing up till we get to cruising altitude. Once we get up to cruising altitude, what you can do is to get your autopilot set up. You head and you get your autopilot engaged. There's two switches above it, the autopilot disconnect, that you're gonna click. As you can see, we're aiming for a pitch angle about 10 degrees, and then once you get to 18,000 feet, you always hit standard for your altimeter.
Los Angeles Center, Southwest 4547 is type
There's
737.
ATC.
3 miles northwest of Oscar.
We're
Lima
tuning
986,
Los Angeles Center.
7000. Request flight following.
So now we're just kind of climbing up to our takeoff, and so that just about concludes it for this video. Thank y'all for watching on how to start up the 737-800 and flight sim. Oops, I accidentally hit out the iPad. Alright, see ya.